Thank you all so much for joining us for advice from author Emily Karmazin. So Emily is a mystery. Oh, actually, I'm not even I'm jumping ahead here. Let me introduce Dale. So let me introduce our wonderful group facilitator, author Dale T. Phillips, who has published novels, story collections, poetry, nonfiction, and more than 80 short stories. Stephen King was actually one of Dale's college writing teachers. And since then, Dale has found time to appear on stage, television, radio, in an independent feature film, and he even competed on Jeopardy! Dale is a member of many writing groups and organizations, including the Mystery Writers of America and the Sisters in Crime. Dale has traveled to all 50 states, Mexico, Canada, and throughout Europe. Gosh, Dale, you would think I would know after 5 years what I'm doing here. So, folks, let's give Dale a big virtual round of applause for being with us tonight. And Dale, you can take it away. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you to the Friends of the Library for sponsoring this program. We really like being able to give good content to everybody listening in, so thank you all for doing so. And tonight we have a special guest, Emily Karmazin, and she's an avid reader. And what I did that right?
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you.
I heard a wait.
Oh no, I was like,
yeah. How often do people get that right? So she's an avid reader and traveler, as I am, and she currently lives in the Wasatch Mountains of Utah. And I did ask, and if she's comfortable with me saying so, she is not Mormon. So
Correct.
She wrote her first book in third grade, fan fiction of Little House on the Prairie. Now that's getting an early start. She's now interested in true crime, learning new things, hiking, all things strange and unusual, which is why she's here, and baking. And she has a number of books out, which include The Final Request, The Case of the Filthy Beast, and The Case of the Kona Curse. Sounds a lot Perry Mason, but we'll get into that. Emily, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Dale, and thank you, Robert. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, so usually we start off with our first question is the origin story, whether supervillain or superhero. How did you get to this point? I'm not saying which is which.
Well, I mean, there's probably some people out there that think I'm the villain, right? So I kind of like that. I always like to say no rest for the wicked because it's fun, like I don't know. Like I'm tired anyways. I don't need to say weary. So yeah, I joined a writers group in Kansas City, Missouri, where I was living. We had a Sisters in Crime chapter there. It was border crimes, and joined a group. Met a couple people, and they were like, "Yeah, there's this thing, National Novel Writing Month. You write novels," and I was like, "What? In a month? What? That's crazy."
Yeah.
And so I did it. It was a hot mess. I didn't have an outline. I did not know all the things I didn't know. And
but that's how you learn. That's what the whole point is to just brain dump all the stuff and get the practice of sitting down, hitting that goal, and then going, "Ooh, if I can do that, now I can write a real book."
Yes. And it's like, if you can do like, just, just do it. It's just like anything else, football players, ice skaters, doctors, no one got to be great in their field by doing it one time. We all learn, we all get better with practice. And that first book was a doozy. I just figured out the plot problem with it about 8 months ago.
Okay.
And it's been over a decade. So I just put it out, comes out today, Wicked Wares. It's like the 15th title for it. But I kept writing and, randomly during novel writing month and as I had ideas. And then when COVID hit, I was like, what am I doing? I have 5 manuscripts on my computer. Am I just writing for myself, which is cool? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's journaling, and that's fine. But
yeah. I was like, or do I want to put my stories out there? And so I was I don't know if anyone's familiar with Savvy Authors. They're like an online community. I think they're back up and running now. They were down for a little while. Um, and I was in there, and there was a writing coach. And I was like, I think I'm going to hire a writing coach. And she was super affordable. So I was like, oh, whatever, it's birthday money, I'll use that. And we worked together for about 2 years. Um, Started querying books and got with a small publisher. And that's how The Case of the Filthy Beast and The Case of the Kona Curse came about. Um, I put out Final Request on my own because I just love the story. It's as people here in Utah say, it's spicy. Um, so it's kind of a one-off, but it is a mystery. So that's my origin story. I just kept plodding along, and like I said, somebody probably thinks it was a villain story, but I like to think I'm like the superhero of my own life.
Yeah. Well, what prompted you to spend your third grade writing fanfic?
Interestingly enough, I did not learn to read until third grade.
Wow.
Um, yeah. Yeah, before then, I went to a private Pentecostal school.
Ah,
And yeah, and
reading not big on the curriculum, huh?
no, our reading test was Bible verses, and I could memorize those. So I was like, psh,
Wow.
that's reading. So the school um, closed. I went to public school, and they were like, oh,
I'm gonna put you in a special class.
yeah, I was all, I was all shades of special. Uh, and but I worked at it. I wanted to learn, and our teacher was wanting us to do little books, based on something, and I was like,
Huh.
I'm gonna write a book about a mouse that lives um in Little House on the Prairie, and I'm going to write it from the mouse's perspective. And had wallpaper as the cover. We made wallpaper covers. Um, I drew the illustrations and all that. So yeah.
Well, that's amazing. I know. I think that is unusual for a writer to start that early and that late, but you managed to make it work. And did you continue to write after that, little sketches and things and bits and bobs?
Yeah, my best friend Jenny, we lived down the road from each other about a mile, so we would take the bus together pretty much every day through high school. And I specifically remember in middle school, we went to Fort Osage, so everything was Indian related. It was the 80s and 90s. In our middle school, we were put in different tribes. And so Jenny and I were separated, first time ever. We were in different tribes, and we'd get on the bus at the end of the day, and we would exchange our stories we wrote.
Hmm.
And so we do that. And to this day, she's one of my best beta readers because she will straight up tell me like, what is this? So yeah.
Interesting. Well, since you said that, do have to ask, what did you think of Killers of the Flower Moon?
I, you know, I try to make a point of not being political just because I
Yeah,
feel like what's that?
that's a wise choice.
Here's why. In my private life, I am absolutely political. I am happy to have my voice heard, and I vote, and I go to meetings, and I'm very active politically. But when it comes to my writing and that world, I want it to be as non-political as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because there's so much derision. Um, it, it can be really hard to listen to it all the time. And I just want to create a space where it's like people can go and just be good and have a good time. And they know it's like a good place to just go have a good time, go have a blast. So,
Okay, but you're into true crime, so
yes.
dot dot dot. See, I gotcha.
Oh, dang it. I mean, I read the book a while ago. I saw the movie recently, and
Yeah.
I was not I was okay. I wasn't like wooed by it.
Yeah, it's all about the natives, and it's from the view of all the white people. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but like most Hollywood movies are. Like, I mean, it's so
Oh yeah,
hard
of
to get
course.
something that's authentic from an authentic perspective. And I was just having this conversation the other day with an author about sensitivity readers
Yep,
and,
yep.
cultural appropriation. And I'm like, man, I think if you're viewing it through your eyes, your character's eyes,
Yeah.
then it's okay. But you can't come at it from an indigenous view
Yeah.
without sensitivity, without having opinion. Like on Case of Kona Curse,
Mhm.
I have it written by like from two
Native
white middle-aged.
Hawaiians. Yeah.
I did have a Native Hawaiian read it. She just happens to live here in Utah. And I met her in a writers group. Yeah,
As far away from an island as you can get.
I know. I was really surprised, but yeah, because I had her read it just because I was like, I want to make sure even though the story is from two middle-aged white women, I want to make sure
Right.
I'm respectful.
Respecting the culture. Yep. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
trouble. In this age, everything, no matter how innocuous, is viewed as controversial by somebody. And it's
Yeah.
difficult for writers to tread that very fine line and still be honest and still be meaningful.
Meaningful and create a reaction, a reaction, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I think, somebody once told me, oh, people either love or hate my stories. There's no in between. And
That's
I'm like,
good. Actually, that's
yeah,
really good.
I would rather have somebody hate my work as the day is long,
Then be
than be
indifferent.
mediocre.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Mediocre. Ugh, nobody wants
Yeah,
that.
I just heard something today that really resonated with me. It's a literature professor talking, and he talks about the writing. What you're doing is inserting your words into the mind of someone else. It's really an intrusion of
Ooh.
sorts, but it's inserting those words in to cause a reaction. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of, it's a bit violent, but wow, it's a quite the image.
It's true. It's true. And you never know how your stories and your words are going to be taken.
Mm.
One of my works, I was in Sisters in Crime, and um, I met a lady through there, and she read one of my early books, and she's like, I had to put it down. It was too real. It was too much about death.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, really? Like, because to me, death was just a device. And she's like, no, no, it was too close. It was too much. And I was like, wow, okay, wow, I didn't
To
know.
me, that's great. That means you really hit it. I had a
Yeah, we
couple
should put the book down.
Yeah, but I had a couple people come up and say, "Oh, your character in the Zach Taylor series, who is an alcoholic and he's not doing it now." They go, "His struggle every day. That's something I went through, and you really nailed it." And more than one person told me that. I'm like, "Oh, that's great to hear when you hear that." It's like it's not pretty, but it's life, and if it resonates with somebody, yay!
Yeah, yeah, that's like the best compliment is when someone um a lot of my friends and my friends' family members will when we run into each other, every time I run into, Jenny's parents or my godparents or somebody, they're like, we're these people in the book, aren't we?
Yeah, you're like, no, no, no,
And I'm like, sure. Like,
no, no, no. For the sake of not going to court, this is all fictional. It's not taken from any real person. You've got that disclaimer right at the front. And I had to tell somebody recently about that because she was like,
yeah,
"Oh, this is based on this." I said, "No," because the next thing you know, it's like, "Oh, great! I spend the rest of my life in court, and they're trying to get money out of me, and I don't have any."
I was gonna say, if you really want that $24 Amazon check,
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Yeah.
mean, I can give it to you.
All
I
right,
can I can forward it.
I'm gonna give you a whole year's worth of royalties. So, Emily, tell us about your latest book and show us an image, please.
Okay, how do I? Oh, wait.
You can share the screen, bring it
Oh,
up on
that's right.
computer
Okay.
and then share the screen so we can see that.
I almost outsmarted myself there. That was dangerous. Okay. Okay. Is this it? Okay. So I'll just tell you about the book while I do this.
Yep.
So this book, as I pull up the image, this book, I have just been fangirling over this series, and I don't know if I should say that about my own work, but
It's okay. If we
I,
don't promote our work, who will?
right? I just flip and love this series. It's about oh, for heaven's sakes, we're not going to open in there. Oh, there it is. That's really big though. Can I make it smaller? Yes, I can. So it's about an ER doctor that gets a mysterious email from her aunt, and she goes back to her ancestral home in Lexington, Missouri, which is a real city in Lexington. And she's getting ready to clean out the family house for sale, and she finds a mysterious object. And then people start dying. People start showing up dead. A curious dog shows up, and she's like, I've only ever had a goldfish. I don't know what to do with this dog.
Yeah.
But it becomes her companion. There's a couple questionable gentlemen, possibly sexy, possibly we don't know. Um, there's a best friend that is a pretty good best friend. Okay, share. Yes, right. Get that. Is this one I want to share? Okay. Let me see if I can do this here. Ah. Okay, well, I need this little guy.
If we see a screen, we're not seeing the precise screen.
Here you go. There's a screen 5 hours later. Can you see it now?
Nope. We are seeing a list of your files and downloads.
Oh, nobody, you probably don't want to see that.
Yeah, excellent.
There we go.
So, since you did the curse, is this another curse book in a different universe? But if she finds an object where people die, that seems to indicate a curse.
Yes. So, the first two books, the case books, that's how they differentiate. The two case books are settled around two middle-aged best friends who end up solving crimes together. One's an ER nurse, Lexi, the other is a teacher, and one of Zelda's students dies, is tragically murdered, and Lexi is in the ER. She tries to help her, and she's like, no, this isn't an accident. This is more. So they decide they're going to take it upon themselves in amateur author fashion to solve the crime. And then in the case of the Kona Curse, they go to Hawaii on a vacation, which was inspired by, I don't know if you ever watched growing up, Fantasy Island or the Brady Bunch.
I prefer Hawaii 5-0.
Okay. Yeah. Like all of those shows when I was growing up, they all did Hawaii episode. And it was always, like a luau, beach, weird, mysterious objects, criminals. And so that's what the case of the Kona Curse is. This book is the first book in the Lockwood Chronicles. It's going to be a 6-book series. Second book is going to come out in January. And it's about Leela Lockwood. Like I said, she finds a magical object, and yeah, it's a gin lamp, and she's like, no, that doesn't exist. That's not real. Yeah, and then people start dying, and her wishes start coming true. Her hair is lush and long and gorgeous. Her chest is nice and perky, and she's like, yes, maybe there's something to this.
Okay, if you want to put a buy link in the chat, we can stop sharing that and tell us where to buy.
Oh, well, you can buy it anywhere books are sold,
okay.
Including Amazon.
Your same publisher that did the other ones?
No, I decided to go indie on this one.
Okay.
just to give it a shot. Not that publishers aren't awesome and not that my publisher isn't awesome. But I just wanted to try it out for myself and see what I could do.
You're gonna like it a
Um,
lot. Having the
you know,
control over everything, the schedule, the cover, the content, the price, the distribution, you're gonna get very addicted. Oh, there we go. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Well, I'm still mastering all the details
Oh
because
yeah, there's a lot to learn, but you can do it
yeah,
in pieces, which the nice thing is.
it's a good thing. Like you can learn at your own speed, just like, you didn't learn commas and dialogue tags and head hopping, not to head hop. You didn't learn all of that like your first manuscript. So there's a curve.
Yeah. Now, do you have your books out in, I assume, ebook? What about audio books?
Audiobooks is my goal for next year.
Nice. Okay. Good.
Nice. Yes.
Good. Good.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, growing up and after you did learn to read, who were your influences?
Oh gosh.
Who do you like now? Who do you like? Who did you like then, and who do you like now?
Man, I loved Betty Lynn Wright. I don't she wrote mysteries in the late 80s and 90s that were kind of uh Nancy Drew Hardy Boy
Oh,
style,
okay.
a little bit more updated. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read Nancy Drew.
Most
Um,
female mystery writers did. And the boys read Hardy Boys and Encyclopedia Brown, and you had Trixie Belden and Nancy Drew, and then Agatha
yes,
Christie, and
Agatha Christie, yes. I loved watching the movies. Now and talk about diversive. I love a good, was it Kenneth Branagh in the new
yeah.
Perot movies?
Oh yeah. Oh, you like his Poirot? Okay,
We do. I know it's very controversial. That's
that's
probably more
okay.
controversial.
Everybody, some people like kimchi, you know.
Let's say that's probably more controversial than a political opinion, in mystery circles, but
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of.
um,
You'll get
yeah,
letters. That's okay.
yeah. Right. Um,
David
and
Suchet was the best ever. How could you? Oh my God, you're a horrible person.
I know. I just like him. What was that? Murder in Venice? Or Haunting in Venice. Oh, I can't remember now. But it was good. It was a good, it's very dark and moody. Um, can never turn down a good Stephen King.
Yep.
Yep. Um, always end up rereading Sherlock Holmes,
Mm. Yep.
Anne Rice. I've been stuck in an Anne Rice loop. I'm almost out of. Um, the Vampire Chronicles just I'm stuck. I can't get out. And then I just got out of a kick of Greg Beck. I think his last name is Beck. He's got a ton of books on Kindle Unlimited.
Huh.
Um, he's a sci-fi author and he writes books about, you know, a Viking hidden world, Lemuria, under Greenland,
Oh,
and
cool.
how yeah, and there's always like this special forces guy who's retired and he's gonna go on the mission and then he falls in love, but then there's giant beasts everywhere and they're gonna kill him. And I wonder, like, I don't think they've slept for 2 weeks
Yeah. Or gone to the bathroom.
or had anything but a cup of coffee.
Right.
Um, but for some reason, when he writes, I can suspend all disbelief and
Yep.
stay up
That's
all
it.
night reading.
That's where
Yeah.
the magic comes in. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I get up. I will literally turn over from one side to the other, curse, and keep reading. So yeah.
Yep. The willing suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Now, editing. Did you have editors with the publishing house, and do you go outside to get your own now?
So yeah, with the publishing house, I had an editor. Um, and she was fantastic. I hear so much about writers that say, oh, I don't want to go with a traditional publisher because they're going to kill my voice. Um, I didn't have that experience. She loved my voice.
That's
So
great.
yeah, right. Like I lucked out. Um, for the self-publishing, the indie publishing that I'm doing, um, I usually write the rough draft, go back and do like a content edit,
Uh-huh.
like find my plot holes, my character,
Do you use
like
the beta reader then or later on?
later on. I don't use a beta reader until the very end because my experience with my beta readers are um they tend to get obsessed with commas, and I'm like,
Wow. Wow.
yeah, I'm like,
That's kind
I
of not
don't,
what I'm looking for, but thanks.
yeah, I'm like, I don't care about that comma.
Yeah, not
Like,
right now.
I'm
That's later. That's the proofreader. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Um, and then I probably do 3 or 4 passes at the bare at the minimum before I get ready to send it to the editor. Um, and
Good.
then I have one editor. Um, she goes through it, and then I send it to my beta reader, and then I have one kind of like final touch line editor that goes through at the end right before I publish. But I used to be the first review I ever got for the case of the filthy beast. Somebody commented that there was an error in it, and I was like, oh gosh, straight anxiety attack. Like my
Oh, it
heart
happens. It
raced.
happens.
I, I felt so bad though. Like I was like, oh my God, I'm so unprofessional. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. And then I was at BoucherCon, not this year, but last year. And oh, Charlene Harris,
Oh yeah.
she is amazing. Um, and it was her, uh, Philippa Gregory, and a bunch of other people, like good people. I can't remember who all now, but somebody mentioned mistakes in their book. And everybody on that panel was like,
Raise their hand. Yeah. Guilty.
and I was like, well, Charlene Harris is laughing.
Exactly. And
Why
that's
am
what,
I?
you don't have a perfect book. Nobody or almost nobody gets the perfect book without anything. So, don't lose sleep. So Lindsay's got a question. Have you used alpha readers instead of beta readers?
Alpha readers.
I know. Well, we're kind of the alpha readers.
Oh, do you mean like critique groups?
I guess. Yeah.
I do love a critique group.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Workshop the stuff and that gets your book to the point where you spend a whole lot less when you send it to the editor.
yeah. Oh yeah, you realize things that you didn't even know you didn't know. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
heard they read chapters as you write them. Oh, Lindsay, I will tell you that that's not a good idea. For
I
a
would
writer,
agree.
you need to first get the story down. If somebody is critiquing as you go along, you're going to second guess yourself and change directions and just lose all focus. Get the story down before you show it to anybody else first. Take another pass at it. When you go, that's pretty good, read it out loud because your ear will pick up on anything that doesn't sound right. And then you can take it to the workshops, take it to the beta readers, and all that. But yeah, not as you go. Ooh, golly, that's
No, I don't think I would have ever written more than a chapter if I had
nobody.
to if
Nobody would write.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Dale, that reading out loud thing, I absolutely hate it.
Yep.
It's so good. It's so helpful. It catches so many things, but man, I will curse, I will him haul around, I will do everything I can to not do that. Um,
but
But it's so helpful. It's
yep.
like it's yeah. Um, but you want to talk about like low self-esteem. I think all authors have it to some extent. Um, can't remember.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it
the
was
imposter syndrome that a lot of them have, but they shouldn't.
yeah.
I mean, do you think Michelangelo was going, yeah, this kind of sucks. I don't know why I even bother.
No, but I bet you money he was looking at that going, is that was that the correct pigment of
Yeah, that
blue that I wanted
nose
up
is
there?
off a little. Yeah.
Oh, if only I could have laid up there another 3 days. I mean, we can always support groups as you go in reading. Absolutely essential. 100%. Yes. The reading out loud, man. I Oh, it hurt. But it's so good.
Yep.
But yeah, no, and I think if you are having people read them as you write, you might lose some of your magic.
You
It-
absolutely lose the magic. Yeah.
and you lose your voice because you know where those characters are going to go. Even if it's not on the page yet, you'll get there.
Exactly. Yep.
And so when somebody else is questioning you and correcting you, mm, I feel like that stifles.
Yeah. Imagine trying to do any task where somebody is critiquing every step you take rather than let you try to do the task from start to finish and then say, okay, think about this. And here's a couple ways of improving rather than, nope, that's wrong. Nope, that's wrong. Nope, that's wrong. You'll be like, enough of this.
So Dale, I feel like you've maybe it's my experience, but I'm like, I feel like you've just explained 80% of my professional working life at my day job.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife's going through
As
some
a
of that too.
woman or what?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. She gives them something perfect. Everybody loves it except for this one person. Nope, I don't like any of it. It's like, wow. Okay.
yeah, there's a quote I tell my husband and my critique groups all the time. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach, and there's still going to be somebody that hates peaches.
Yep. Absolutely. And
You're just
there was one. It's the story of the ceramic giraffe. So somebody got a bad review on one of their books that everybody else was loving. And they're like, what can they find out about this? It was just like, no, this book isn't good. I did not finish it. They looked up the person's reviews on Amazon. What else had they done? They had done one other review, and that was for a ceramic giraffe. And they decided to come out of the woodwork and hit this one book with their I hate this book. Thanks a lot. You are just such a wonderful person.
like, could you have hit any other button that day? Any
Yeah,
other
I know.
button.
I love the ceramic giraffe story because it's like you tell stories like this and writers go, wow, okay, all right.
Yes, yes. And support groups are Karen put in the chat, 100%. Whether it's critique groups or you're going to your local sisters in crime or
Yep.
you're having a local meetup at your coffee shop. I went to one not this Saturday, last Saturday, and man, I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to go like to the hip, cool part of Salt Lake, which does exist.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Let's put a pin in that.
small. I I mean I don't I parked a couple blocks away and I don't know that I parked in Sugar House. I think I parked in another neighborhood. But it was at a coffee house and man, I had to psych myself up in the car because I was like, oh, I'm gonna go meet new
I'm
writers.
not
And
cool enough for this.
yeah, I felt like I wasn't because everybody else was writing erotica and
Okay.
horror and fantasy and all this really
That's
cool stuff.
unusual. Yeah, a
And
lot of critique
yeah,
groups. It's well, this one, I mean, we have writers all over the map.
I
So
love
that's
it.
fine because we still give some content that is useful to anybody, no matter what they're writing. I mean, we have Dean
Yeah.
Parsons who's there every single time, and he got such valuable tips because he's really working on getting that first book out, and he's struggling at times with certain aspects of it. And then we say something, and he goes, "Oh, wow, that helps a lot. Thanks."
Yeah, you never know where you're going to get that spark from. And a couple of weeks ago, I drove up to Mount Pelier, Idaho, which I don't necessarily recommend ever going there. I don't know that they had a, I don't know that the traffic light actually turned. I think it just blinked.
Yeah, it's painted
Um,
on.
yeah. But apparently one of the trails went through there, the westward trails, um, and for a little riding festival. And it was like a
Ah,
half day thing. Yeah.
oh,
But
cool.
I got so much out of it. And I was like, see, if you have an open mind, you can find inspiration and stuff from almost anywhere.
Yep. Thank you. I will tell people that writing retreats, writing conferences are a way to really up your game and shave off months, if not years, from your writing journey. You will find the support you want. You will find information. You will find connections. You will be networking. You'll get great tips, and you'll find great stuff to read. You really can't go wrong.
Yes. I never was one of those people that had like a stack of books, the TBR. Oh, sorry, I read the question before I was
That's fine.
talking.
Nope,
But
nope, no reading
now
it. Yes, yes. Do
I
you have
have
a
a whole
degree
stack
for your
of
writing?
TBR.
Did you get an MFA or did you find something in
No,
particular?
no, I have a bachelor's of science in social science, and I have a master's degree in secondary education, social studies, and I spent the majority of my adulthood as an executive assistant for C-level executives, booking travel all over the world and, making sure they have their coffee just right and all of that. And that was kind of part of my, after COVID, I felt like, if not now, when?
Yeah, that's it. That spurred a lot
Yeah.
of people. So, yeah, Beatrice, the great thing about one of the many great things about writing is you do not need a university degree to be able to write well.
Mhm.
Sometimes they can help shape you, but a lot of times they can teach you to write pretty, but not write a lot, and certainly not how to run it as a business. So many times, a lot of these programs are, shall we say, can restrict you. But what you can do is you don't need that. You don't need to spend a lot of money. You can make great contacts there. But as far as creating yourself as a writer, as an artist, and making a business of it, like we say, the conventions, the writing retreats, the conferences, the support groups, these are the people that you want to connect with.
Yeah, and you can draw so much knowledge from people, even just sitting at lunch or, between classes. You strike up a conversation and you not only do you make friends and, you have somebody to bounce off ideas once you get home, but you have just the best people to talk to. And, sometimes you're like, wow, I'm not the craziest person in the room.
Exactly.
Or
Yes. You
sometimes you
find
are.
people that share your psychoses. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, the nice thing, Beatrice, is something to write. You know what? Do what Emily did. Go to a coffee shop and just sit there with your notebook and eavesdrop on conversations. You're going to get so much information and so many ideas that, oh, well, that's a good one. I just heard two people passing by me one time, and all I heard was there was no sign of forcible entry. Bing. I made a beautiful crime story out of that. That's sold. So I was like, yep, all kinds of fun stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And two things that inspired me. I went through a period, a couple of years when we moved to Salt Lake where I really struggled, um, socially, professionally, pretty much every aspect of my life. And I started writing prompts. I think I
Oh,
found them on
yeah.
Pinterest.
It's
Yeah, and
kind of taking two electric wires and when you get a spark, it's like, ooh, okay, let's try that.
yeah, yeah. And I would just find a writing prompt on Pinterest and I would just write, 500 words
Yep.
and talking about overhearing conversations at a writing conference. I was listening to a guy and he's like, "Yeah, I wrote this entire short story about a trash can." And I was like, hold on, hold on. I got to scoot closer to you now. What? And he was working at a uh, computer chip factory where it was
Which I've
all like,
done. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, where you had to wear the suit
The
and you
whole
couldn't
bunny suit. Yeah.
contaminate. Right. You're wearing a whole body suit. You can't contaminate the area. But yet in this room, there was a trash can.
Yeah. And you're not supposed to have regular paper. The paper has to be very specific stuff that doesn't have a lot of chaff to flow off it. But a trash can? No.
No, but why? And so he wrote an entire story about why this trash can was in the clean room. And I'm like,
I'd like to read that actually.
yeah, I was like, if you could find inspiration there, right, where can
Well,
I
it was,
find
I
it?
think it was Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. He gave a
Yes.
writing task to someone who said, I can't come up with a subject. Okay, write about this wall of the school. I can't do it. Write about this row of bricks in the wall. I can't do it. Write about the third brick on the third row. And all of a sudden, that just released the dam and everything flowed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you, I mean, have I gone to some workshops and writing conferences that have been lackluster or didn't speak to me?
Yeah, not everything's going to be a winner, but
Absolutely. Absolutely. I went to one in February and I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna go get some sneakers.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm like,
Hey, but you don't hit a home run every time you're at bat in baseball, you know?
no, no. And not everything is going to speak to you, but sometimes you find little bits. I sat into a romance writing workshop and I got so much out of that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I never want to touch romance. That's just,
But you can learn some peripheral things that you can apply to your own special brand.
you never know.
Nice. And Karen says a friend opened a Chinese fortune cookie every day for a month and wrote a story inspired by the fortunes. I love that. That's a great idea.
That's
Oh,
really good.
I see if they hadn't done that, I'd steal that. That's something I would run with. And Beatrice says, thinks she can write a story about listening to writers that share their experiences. Well, Beatrice, I will say that if you listen to our show every month, you will get all the information you need. Absolutely.
I think that would be a good book. It's on my shelf. I can't see it. There's a publisher. Well, she's not a publisher. She's an editor. Her name is Lisa Magnum. And I can't make out her book from here. It's something about
You
Lisa
can walk
Magnum.
over if you need to.
Oh, pish posh. I'll probably slide out of my chair and fall on my rear. But it's something like write fearlessly, edit smart or something.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and she's been an editor and an author herself for gosh, since her 20s. Her mom was an editor. And her book is just so good. And it's a quick little read, but it's one of those things that's like, oh man, this is good stuff. So I like that one. Let's see, Brian. Oh no, it's Bryn.
Brent, yeah. They would write 500 words about the most mundane items in their lives. That is good because as a writer, we need to think outside the box. And writing about something mundane, I mean, okay, the best nonfiction writer, John McPhee, he writes about oranges, and this is compelling. He writes about a basketball player, and yet he makes this a page turner that you have to turn. He writes about guys taking a boat trip, and everything is fantastic. It's what you do with it. So yeah, even a mundane item can take on a trash can. That kind of thing is brilliant. That's making art out of something. It's almost Dada, which is great.
100%. And in the case of the Filthy Beast, I have a scene where two of the characters make cream of wheat, which I just added it because I was like, well, this is really, I want a soothing thing to happen here. I'm gonna have them make
Yeah,
cream
it's
of
the
wheat.
pause, that caesura that makes it,
Yes.
releases the tension out of all the driving force. It slows things down a bit, lets you take a breath, lets the reader pause, get a cup of tea, and go, oh, okay.
Yes.
Now we're back into the action.
Yeah, and I used my husband's recipe, which is like a half a stick of butter, a cup of
Woo!
sugar. Oh yeah, no, like you have one spoon and you're
I'm
like,
not sure Uncle Ben would approve.
but I put that in the book. And I'm always surprised at people saying, my mom makes it like that.
Yeah,
Or,
because
you know
nobody
what, my
does that
grand.
anymore. Nobody eats that anymore. So yeah,
No, yeah. And it's so basic and like kind of boring, but readers identify with it.
yeah,
And it strikes something in them visceral that they're like, oh, yeah, it's cozy and warm.
yes, sir.
So,
Beatrice,
yeah, the
thank you. Your
mundane.
check will be in the mail shortly. Much appreciated. Yeah, that's the thing is I always tell people it doesn't matter what you write about. If you can hook the reader in to follow a character, a situation, anything, they don't really care what they do or where they go. They will follow you all the way down. As long as you're true, stay true to that character and make it something the reader wants to see what happens. To me, a lot of literary fiction fails in that aspect because it's not about people I enjoy reading about, and they're
No,
not doing anything. And it's like, I'm not interested in your situation. An English professor struggling to write his novel. Okay, that's what every other literary writer does because that's what they know. And
it's like,
like,
hello, I can look in the
Lord.
mirror if I want to see that.
I mean, there are some good ones. I mean, but but that's it. It's find something that grabs them. You
Yeah,
don't have to drop a body on the first page, as they say in the mystery field, but
yeah.
get something when they start off. We can't be like Charles Dickens anymore and have 17 pages of descriptions of places in London because they didn't have audio back then. They didn't have travel logs. They didn't know. So they loved seeing this stuff, which would tell them about an exotic locale. Oh, the dirty streets of London. Great. Now I have an image in my head. He has inserted those words and those images in my head. And now I would like to see what happens to characters in that situation. What are these people like who live in this place? And nowadays we're like, okay, yeah, you know what Hawaii looks like, right? We're right on the story. But you can have a couple paragraphs of description and fun, but you can't go on for 17 pages without getting into the meat of the subject.
No, the best compliment I've gotten about the case of the Kona Curse so far is one of my friends at Aqua Fitness up at the rec center said that he's like, I read it and then I told my husband we have to go to Hawaii. And I was like, oh, do I get a portion of that for like
Well,
do I
but
get
you
a
should take me as a travel
permission?
guide. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I
I
do
was
with
like,
my Zach Taylor series. I said, this book is set in Portland, Maine. Now, if you know Portland, you'll know all the spots I'm writing about. And if you don't, it makes you want to go there.
now, do you ever worry about writing about a real place?
No, no. In fact, I mixed things up because I wrote Neptune City about a place in New Jersey. Now, there is an actual Neptune City, and I put right at the start, this is a fictional place that has no bearing on the real one. And somebody in a review still said, this is not the Neptune City where I grew up. I'm like, I know, but I use it as a fictional place. And you got to get that disclaimer right at the start of every book. This is a work of fiction. So anytime somebody complains, you go, did you read this part right here? It's right here. Read it
No.
again. Yeah.
No, because I don't think I've ever read that. I mean, I know it, but like I don't think I've read it.
Yeah.
That's true because like the case books, the Lexi and Zelda books are set in Atherton, Missouri. And technically the town doesn't exist. It unincorporated about
Right.
20
Does
years
not
ago.
exist as this.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely not as in the book. Um, I went back for a visit about 2 years ago and actually found a man who was in his 80s, I think it was 87, who grew up in Atherton. That's how
Oh,
long it was ago that the
okay.
town was prosperous. Um, but I base it on the world I remember growing up.
Right.
So it who knows if it ever existed, right? Because it's my memories in my head.
Yeah. I've actually made stuff up for some books that after researching afterwards found out that really is true. It's like, oh, I
No
like
way.
that.
It's like you're psychic too.
That's always fun. Yeah, and
Hmm.
one I wrote a story about bootleggers off the coast of Maine during Prohibition, and somebody
Oh,
said, "Oh,
nice.
you have to write about Will Frost, the boat builder, the Wizard of Beals." Everybody loved his boats because they were so sleek and so fast. All the rum runners wanted one because they could outrun the Coast Guard. So I put
Oh,
that in the story, and somebody contacted me and said, "Hey, how do you know about this?" I said, "Well, I did some research," and they said, "I actually married into that family, the Frost
yeah.
family, and they still build boats on the coast of Maine. Thank you
No
so much
way.
for doing this." I'm like, "Oh,
I love that. That's like how
isn't that
wild.
cool?" I mean, wow. And I love to do that. I love to put in so many Easter eggs in my work. You will go over them if you don't know what I'm talking about, but if you do, it's like, ah, wow, nice.
I'm a huge fan of the TV show Supernatural. Um,
And my wife's a
I
big fan too.
oh, I mean, the stories are good, but also some good eye candy on that show. And
Are you a
I
dean
in
or
oh, Dean, 100%,
okay,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. Like my best friend and I basically communicate via what are they, GIFs on our cell
Memes, yeah.
phone? Dean, yeah, Dean faces and
Dean
and
memes.
looks. Yeah, that's it. But there's some Easter eggs for
Oh,
Supernatural
oh yeah.
fans in Wicked Wares. And I always wonder if like people are gonna catch them or if they're too subtle.
What's the name of the show? What show is that, Beatrice? I'm sorry. Not particular. Supernatural, what she was referring
Oh,
to?
yes, Supernatural.
Yeah. Susan wants to know, how long did it take you to write your first book and your last book? Yeah, Supernatural. Yeah, all one word.
Yes, it's on Netflix if you have Netflix. I don't know where else it is.
What was it, like
Um,
15 seasons, wasn't it? Something like that.
yes, and yes, there are some seasons that are questionable,
Oh yeah.
like anything else, not everyone has not every book in a series is a winner. Um, okay, yeah, you got to start with the first episode though, because
Yeah.
it's so good.
Start with
Anyways,
the
yeah.
origin and work through. That's what you do with a series. Yeah.
Okay, so my first book, I started it 13 years ago, and it is the book that was released today.
There you go.
It wasn't the first book I published
Right.
because for the life of me, I could not figure out, it took me a decade to figure out a plot problem. I knew it was a good story. I knew I had a good character. I knew there were pieces there that were good, but it wasn't right.
Emily,
And
I hear you 100%. The first book I finished was Shadow of the Wendigo, and it wasn't good, and I knew that, but I knew the story had to be told. But I had to write and publish other books before that. And then I went back bit by
you went
bit
back. Yeah.
over the years. Now get this, 35 years. And then
I
like the
love it.
last the last year or two, a couple of things came together and snapped in like Lego bricks. And I went, that's it. That's it. I know how to fix it. Boom. And out it comes. So they say, how long does it take you to write a book? And I go, anywhere from 6 months to 35 years.
Legit.
And
Legit. Yeah. Yeah. I think Kona Curse took 6 months from first typing to having it like released by the editor to for publication date. Um, but that was fast. And I mean, that's fast. But yeah, no. But that just goes to show, Dale, that like I am a big believer in walking away from a story. If you've done everything you can, walk
absolutely.
away, do something else
Sometimes
for a
the
minute.
recipe needs to gel. You need a touch of something else in there that you're not sure what. Absolutely. And Susan, a book takes as long as it takes. That's the
Yeah,
one thing about being independent is you're not on somebody's schedule. I have seen books that I know were rushed out because they had to meet the
yes.
publisher's last 30,000 words and get it out by November to hit the schedule. And you can tell. And I don't do that. I'm like, I have pulled back books that were scheduled because I'm like, nope, it's just not as good as I want it.
Yeah, I have a calendar on my wall of books I want to release in the next year
Yeah,
and my plan and everything. And I'm like, you know what though? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's
right.
okay because I have goals and I'm doing the best I can. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in the muse. And sometimes
Yes.
the muse comes and says, you know what? I want you to work on this one. Even if I'm working on three other things, I go, yes, ma'am. I listen because that's the fire. That's the good stuff. And she's like, that one's not ready yet. You just think about that for a while. We're going to work on
Yeah.
this. So Beatrice
Yeah.
wants to know, what kind of writing tool do you use? I just type things into Word.
Same. I use Word. I lost Kona Curse
Oh,
because Word deleted it.
Carbonite for backup.
Uh-huh.
$50 a year, and you back up your entire system. So anything happens, boom, you get it all back.
Yeah, after I was curled up on a ball in the floor crying and my
Yeah,
husband was trying to figure out how to retrieve it.
I'd talk you down off
Um,
the shelf, off the ledge.
yeah, he was just like, be quiet, I'm working. And I'm like, all right. Because it was also due to the publisher in 2 weeks. So there was no time to rewrite.
Nice. Yeah, no pressure
Yeah.
whatsoever. Yeah.
No worries. But yeah, and then I really like one tool that I really like and that has helped my writing get better is Pro Writing Aid.
Ah, okay.
Some people like it, some people hate it, but for me, my biggest obstacle has always been grammar. I can tell a great story.
Do you use Grammarly?
I don't like Grammarly.
Okay.
No, I also don't like Scrivener.
Scrivener, I was just about to mention. Yep.
Yeah, I know people like it, but I
Well, if
even
it's not
watched
right for you, it's
YouTube
not right. And
videos.
that's the nice thing, Beatrice, is that there are so many tools out there, and use what works for you. And don't listen to anybody who says, oh, you gotta do dot dot dot. No, you gotta do what
Yeah.
works for you. If it works with a goose quill pen and a bucket of black ink on parchment that you've hand done, then that's what it is. Don't say any different. If that's what
Yeah.
you create your art with, it's all good.
100%. And if somebody tells you, yeah, if anyone ever gives you ultimatums or says, yeah, you absolutely have to use this, no.
Yep.
No, because I've tried, I sometimes write in Google Docs, but like Dale said, always back up.
Yep. Emily, we are getting down near the end. This has been great, but so folks, prepare your final questions. The tools are Scrivener and Grammarly. You can look those up and find out where those are. Your writing discipline, if you have it. Do you have a schedule, number of words per day, per week? Got to get the book out in 6 months. How do you do that?
Yeah, so for the longest time, my goal was about 1,000 words a day. Um, and then I went to that writing conference in Mount Pelier, Idaho,
Not
and
Vermont.
and there was a lady there who writes 10,000 words a day.
Dear Lord.
I don't know how she's like, I literally just
Yeah,
stared
I
at
know
her like,
Jack London used to do that, but he killed himself early. So there you go.
right. I was just like, oh, that I believe you. So I got
It can
home
be
and I was
done,
like,
but that's not by me.
right, but do you have a life? And is it quality or are you just throwing words on the page to get a
Right,
goal?
right.
So I set up a goal when I got back. I was like, I'm gonna write the fourth book in the Lockwood series, the series that just started that came out today. And I was like, I'm gonna write 5,000 words a day in this book. I'm gonna write it in 2 weeks. And I did it. And I write with an outline, a very loose
Yep,
outline.
yep, good. This is all
Um,
good info, though.
yeah. And I was good until about three-fourths of the way through. And I was like, I'm just a monkey on a keyboard.
Yep.
Just a monkey on a keyboard. We'll figure it out later.
Oh, it doesn't
And
matter. It's just a number of words.
so I found that mine is about 3,000 words. I usually get up early. Um, I have my, as I call it, my private reflection time where I surf the social media
And
and
you still have your
all
day
of,
job. So, right?
yeah,
So there
yeah,
you
I
go.
write a lot during my lunch hour. Um, I've tried to use some dictation a few times.
Oh, yeah. Are you using
Yeah, but
Dragon, naturally speaking?
yeah, but then a word will come up and I look at the transcript and I'm like,
Ah.
well, what did I mean? I don't
Canoe?
know.
Where did a canoe come in?
So, but always like it's always good to try new things and challenge yourself. And so
Right.
that's what I learned was, you know what, I can challenge myself and I can do different things. So yeah.
Rosemary says, thank you for such great suggestions and hopes you will come back. So
Oh,
there you
thank you,
go.
Rosemary. Oh, thank
So
you.
now you're going to have to just write more books.
I love it. I love it. It makes me so happy to write. I that writing group that I was at 2 weeks ago. Um, I was kind of I had just really started taking over my marketing and like the business side of it. And I was so deep in that that I kind of forgot the joy of writing
Right.
and the
I
fun
think
of
that's a
it.
danger for most. I was just about to ask you if you have any marketing tips because I think people chase sales so much that they really lose sight of all that is joyful in making the art. You'll never be happy with your numbers. You'll always want more, more, more. I mean, no matter what spot you have on the bestseller list, you want to be higher, longer, more.
Right. I mean, if not, like Charlene Harris is like my person. That's the person I dream of being.
She's a goddess, so yeah.
Yeah, she really is. She's so it was so funny at that BoucherCon. Every time I turned around, Charlene Harris was there. And it got to the point that people were like,
Are you two
where's
buds?
Emily? There's Charlene. It was kind of cute.
Yeah, my friend is Toni Kellner, Lee Perry, who was her writing partner for a lot of the anthologies. So yeah.
I just, anyways, okay. Um,
Any marketing tips?
Marketing tips. Yes. Um, there is, there's a lot of places that to spend your money
Oh
in
yeah.
marketing. There's a lot of it. There's also some fantastic free resources.
Vet,
Um,
vet, vet.
yes, yes. And there is a guy, David,
David Goffrin. Yeah, I know. Gaughran. All
like an
things
Irish dude.
Amazon.
Yes. And he has a book out. It's free on Amazon, but he breaks it down so easy.
Yep.
And he's like, focus on your newsletter.
Yep.
And what I love about his book, his shtick, right, is he's like, here's why you want to do it. Here's how you do it. Here's options.
Right.
Very, very simplistic, very like easy to understand. And I was like very comfortable with it. Then he talks about social media, and the one thing that I picked up on is like if you're not on TikTok, if you're not on there doing that, don't suddenly decide to do TikToks because it's probably not going to be authentic.
Right.
Stick to the social media that you know and that you use because that's going to be the most authentic voice. Yes, yes, that's it, Dale. I love that man.
I know nobody knows how to pronounce his name, but
No, no, but his books have really helped me feel more comfortable with marketing. And I wish more people would use resources and also you guys, you wrote a book, right? You wrote a fantastic book. Trust your instincts. For some reason in marketing, suddenly we become neophytes. Like we act like we've never seen an ad before and
but
we've
don't
never
just bombard social media. Buy my book. Buy my book. That's not how you do it.
no, no. And on my social media, some of the biggest interactions I've had that correlate with sales is when I post things about I posted something, I think it was last week, where I was like, I was walking my dog and I just want to be appreciated. Like I don't need anyone to worship me. I just want someone to appreciate the hard work that I have put into getting to where I am in life. Okay, that's just a little bit. And then I was like, well, why do I have to get that from someone else? Why can't I celebrate myself?
Yeah.
And that resonated with so many people. And I was like, but and that's what it's about building those relationships with your readers. And do I have time for one story?
A quick one, but I will say what you were talking about. Seth Godin, Godin, is a business guru, and he wrote a book called Choose Yourself. Exactly what you're saying. Don't wait for the pat on the head from Manhattan. Choose yourself. So, your
No,
story.
no. So I was in a class the other day about your ideal reader, right?
Yeah.
And we hear a lot about that when you start marketing. And it talk about light bulb moment for me. I had a light bulb moment because I was like, not only is my ideal reader somebody that reads my newsletter, but they're on my Instagram. They're like, and I looked at my ideal reader. I have it written down who my ideal reader is. And I was like, it's my friends. It's, women that are my age, a little bit older, that's it. And I started thinking, even when I post, I'm like, oh yeah, no, Jenny's gonna crack up at this, or Heather, this is Heather,
Nice.
and I noticed that even comes into my work when I think about it, like my ideal reader, will they enjoy this? Will this resonate with them? So yeah, that's something I love is the ideal reader. I can't talk enough about it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Emily.
You're
I think
welcome.
Robert's going to jump in here. If anybody has a final question for Emily before we ring off, thank you so much for spending the time with us. We love the show because it's different perspectives. Like
Oh,
you
I
say,
love
there's a
it.
thousand ways you can do this. And if it works for you, that's the right way.
And that's the only right way to do it, is what works for you. And don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try every new thing under the sun and see how it works. Maybe you take a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and make it your own. It
I
does.
call it the sausage machine. How do you come up with ideas? That's everything you've heard, seen, felt, experienced, imagined, all goes into this giant grinder, and it grinds up, and you add your own spice in it, and have no idea what comes out. But when it does, sometimes like, well, that's interesting.
Yes, 100%.
But you don't want to watch the
100%.
sausage being made. Definitely.
Nobody. My husband took a photo the other day with, I got my blanket up to here.
Yeah, yeah. The
You
writer, the
know,
glamorous life of the writer. Yeah.
the dog is like right here staring at me,
With a
like,
butt in your
Mama,
face.
when
Or
you done? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that's gonna go on socials because that's a horrible photo.
yep,
Love it.
yep. Hair all disarray.
Yep. 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 I don't think I had any makeup on, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yep. All they want to see is the book. So
yes,
good luck
yes.
with the book. I hope it does well.
Oh,
That's great.
thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me, Dale, and thank you for having me, Robert. I've enjoyed it. It's been fun.
And thank you, everybody. And please do fill out those questionnaires because it helps Robert choose programming that you want to pay attention
Yes.
to.
Yep. So as Dale said, as Emily said, thank you all so much. Wonderful conversation. Look for an email from me later tonight with the recording. As Dale said, please take the feedback survey, and we will see you back on, let's see, Tuesday, December 16th for Allison Keaton, who is the author of the Mid-Coast Maine Mystery Series. So Allison will be with us in about a month. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Emily. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night.
Yes. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.